If you grew up in the 1990s, no doubt you'd have heard of this guy. Equally, the younger viewers out there will know of this guy as a famous meme. Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up was released in 1987 and topped the charts in 25 different countries worldwide. It was a great tune with great success, but none of his other tunes came close to this success. A true one-hit wonder. While football has its own soundtrack of vanishing anthems, the players who explode onto the scene, light fireworks, light up a season in a way that makes pundits and rivals head straight to social media and make highlight videos on their 15 minutes of fame. And then they're gone. Not necessarily gone from the game, but vanished from the spotlight, derailed by injuries, bad moves, loss of confidence, or even the cruel fate of football luck. Today we celebrate these players who delivered a full throttle blockbuster season or period, and then the sequel or whatever happened next never quite lived up to the hype. We'll look at where they were before their big year or moment, the move that lit the fuse, the season itself, and then what happened after the confetti fell. Grab your headphones, because this playlist is short, loud, and strangely beautiful. And yes, press like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Alright, let's go. Football's one season wonders. Michu, Swansea City, 2012-2013 season. Before the blonde hair and PR-friendly grin, Miguel Perez Cuesta had quietly been grinding through Spain's lower tiers and La Liga's fringes. He arrived at Rayo Vallecano and then moved to Celta, but nobody expected a £2 million move to Swansea in 2012 to change British football's highlight reel. The transfer itself was low risk. Swansea needed smart attacking options, and Michu looked like a tidy continental forward. What he became in 2012-13 was something else. A nightmare for defenders. He combined an old school striker's calm with flashes of poacher's instinct and vague loads of timing. Across that season, Michu produced a double-digit goal return in the Premier League, finished as Swansea's top goal scorer, and was the central figure in Swansea's run to the 2013 League Cup, their first major trophy. But the fairy tale ran headfirst into the brick wall of injury. Ankle problems and complications turned the following season into a horror show. Attempts to recapture form, a loan here, a sidelined afternoon there, never worked. The body sadly said no. He left the Premier League prematurely and slowly moved back to Spain, eventually shifted into the behind-the-scenes roles and sporting directorship work. He's not a training room myth or a roaming pundit, he's just the man that had one perfect, unforgettable season, and now lives quietly in the memory of Swansea City fans who still sing his name. Why is he a one-season wonder? Well, it was pure timing, the right club, the right system, peak fitness, and then cruel misfortune. The peak was cinematic, the decline was quietly tragic. That contrast makes him the blueprint for modern one-hit wonder. Alphonso Alves, Middlesbrough, 2007-2008 season. Alphonso Alves arrived in England with continental thunder already in his boots. He torched the Dutch league at Heerenveen, arriving with a goal-scoring resume that screamed clinical. Borough paid a decent fee to get him to the Riverside, and the first half of his life in England looked like vindication for scouts everywhere. For a spell, he looked unstoppable. A stunning volley here, a poacher's finish there, that kind of physical, aerial, long-range mix that made Premier League centre-backs go cross-eyed. He ripped through opposing defences early on, and fans began to picture a Brazilian goals machine lighting up Teesside for years. Then the following season turned into a slow-motion car crash. Form evaporated, confidence drained, Middlesbrough as a team slumped too. Relegation followed, and Alves' trajectory curved towards the quiet isles of the smaller leagues. He eventually moved away from Europe to play in less fashionable competitions where the headlines were kinder but the lights were smaller. He's remembered in the Northeast for the brilliant goals and half a season of hope. His story reads like a cautionary tale, prolific in the right environment, but move, injury, or tactical mismatch can turn you into a footnote almost overnight. For the faithful who were there that opening half season, his name still pops with a nostalgic smile. Why is he a one-season wonder? Pure conversation and momentum in one window. The rest was erosion of confidence and team collapse that he never recovered from. Roque Santa Cruz, Blackburn Rovers 2007-2008 season. When Roque Santa Cruz came to Blackburn from Bayern Munich, whispers from Bavaria said this will be a learning curve. What he did instead was light up the Premier League like someone who'd found their natural habitat. In that debut season, the Paraguayan striker bullied defenders, timed his run to perfection, and put the ball into the net with the kind of cold-blooded precision any manager would take. He finished the season near the top of the goal-scoring chart, immediately converting neutral observers into admirers. The physical presence, the knack of big game goals, it all looked like a perfect fit. But money talks in football, and Manchester City listened. They spent big to bring Roque to Eastlands, dreaming of adding his finishing to their rising project. It didn't work. Injuries, limited minutes, and a tactical setup that didn't suit him meant City's years were punctured by frustration. The goals dried up, loans and moves followed. He couldn't replicate that Blackburn magic elsewhere. Where is he now? Roque eventually returned to South America, enjoyed durable stints and became a national hero at home in Paraguay. In England, he's the classic example of a player who burst into life in one place, but for reasons outside his control couldn't replicate it in the glamour clubs. Why is he a one-season wonder? System fit. Blackburn was his stage. Other clubs expected a repeat hit that simply required a different beat. Graffiti. Wolfsburg 2008-2009 season. Wolfsburg's phenomenal Bundesliga campaign resulted in the club's first and so far only championship title. Felix Magath's team developed many players, but while their main frontman Edin Dzeko was destined for a career full of achievements, his striker partner Graffiti had a different fate. Both enjoyed an outstanding season in terms of goal scoring. Dzeko netted 36 goals while Graffiti scored 35. Graffiti, by the way, won the Bundesliga Golden Boot race ahead of Dzeko. 28 goals in 25 matches versus 26 goals in 32 matches. The duo called themselves the local Batman and Robin. So what happened next? Dzeko built on his success. He scored twice as many goals as Graffiti in the following season, 22 goals compared to Graffiti's 11. He was one of the few that maintained their level, but Wolfsburg's campaign was a disappointment compared to the previous year. They finished 8th in the Bundesliga, were eliminated from the Champions League group stage, and later fell in the Europa League quarter-finals. The magic was gone. In the 2010-11 season, Dzeko continued scoring and left for Manchester City in the winter. Meanwhile, Graffiti failed to reach double-digit goals and also departed in the summer, at the age of 32, joining Al Ahly in the UAE. While he achieved some local success there and later in Brazil after coming back home, it was far from at the top level. Graffiti retired in 2018, but in 2020 he returned to Wolfsburg as the club's first ever international brand ambassador. Federico Macheda, Manchester United, 2008-2009 season. This is the one match, one season wonder, and what a note it was. Federico Macheda was a teenager, barely on the first team radar when he came off the bench in April 2009 and shoved the winner into the top corner against Aston Villa, a moment that belongs in the Football Chills montage forever. He followed that up with another late winner a week later. Old Trafford lost its mind. The backstory. A young Italian prospect that trained at Manchester United famed academy, suddenly thrusted into the most pressure-packed stage in English football. The goals were not only clutch, they were narrative-defining. The club, the fans, the media, everybody smelled destiny. So what happened next? Loans, moves, injuries, and a confidence bar that proved too high to clear every week. He never established himself as a consistent starter at the highest level. He spent years travelling between clubs, lower leagues, and foreign adventures. Plenty of promise, not enough durability. So where is he now? He's still a professional, playing and coaching in smaller leagues, and remembered by United fans as the kid that saved the title fight with 2 kisses of the ball. So why is he a one-season wonder? A single electrifying impact, minus the follow-up. Football loves a moment, and Makeda delivered one of the best. But careers are marathons. One sprint doesn't guarantee a finish. Papiss Cisse, Newcastle United, 2011-2012 season. Cisse's arrival at St James's Park felt like a breath of fresh air. Very fast air. The Senegalese striker began one season with a sensational scoring run. A series of clinical finishes, a leap into the box that unsettled centre-backs, and composure rare for a player new to English football. He ripped through defenders, produced magic winning moments, and at one point looked like he'd been scoring for Newcastle for a decade. The incredible scoring streak, a run of goals that had fans dreaming in European nights and catapulted him into cult status. After the season, teams and managers adjusted. Injuries nudged his rhythm out of sync, and then tactical changes at Newcastle meant chances flattened out. He aged into a reliable forward, but not the sudden level superstar people expected after that opening burst. Where is he now? Cisse enjoyed spells across Turkey and other leagues, remained a respected forward, and crucially left Newcastle fans with a highlight reel of incredible finishes that still pop up when nostalgia channels roll. Why is he a one-season wonder? A glorious scoring run that burned bright but couldn't be relit in the long term, largely because the league adapted and football is unforgiving if you don't keep evolving. Tanguy Ndombele, Lyon, 2018-2019 season. On the 19th of September 2018, Lyon dramatically upset Manchester City under the brightest of the Champions League lights. The result cast light upon the entire Lyon squad and illuminated the young triad of Ferland Mendy, Hossam Aouar and Tanguy Ndombele. Despite the former's obvious qualities, it was Ndombele who was seemingly shoehorned for stardom. His dominant physical frame, technical excellence and imaginative footballing personality left the football world running out of superlatives to describe him. Somehow it almost seemed that the reality of the player superseded the idea. Against Manchester City, Barcelona and PSG, he produced player of the match performances. The Frenchman dominated in every midfield and every game in the 2018-19 season. He was wonderful. His club record £55 million transfer to Spurs supported this belief. Further confirmation was also found with his first touch in a Spurs shirt, an assist for Lucas Moura against Juventus. Despite this, Ndombele never lived up to the highs of that 2018-19 season. Unlike many of these one-season wonders, injuries did not appear to be the root cause of the problem. Jose Mourinho's comments regarding Ndombele suggested this downturn in form was a consequence of his attitude or professionalism. Whatever the reason may be, the gleams of the player who ran Barcelona riot still shine occasionally. Whether it be the first half of the 2021 season or glimpses at Napoli, Tanguy Ndombele is still a wonderfully talented footballer. Hopefully this decision to include him in this video is not a hasty one, for I believe football would be better if Tanguy Ndombele became more than a one-season wonder. Bojan, Barcelona's wonder. Bojan is a player who had unfathomable potential, with potentially so much pressure placed on his youthful shoulders. Since he was 8 years old, the Spanish striker scored over 900 goals for the famed La Masia's youth teams. This surpassed Lionel Messi's record. On the 16th of September 2007, Bojan became the youngest Barcelona player to feature in La Liga. This surpassed Lionel Messi's record. 3 days later, he surpassed Lionel Messi again. He came on for his supposed predecessor in the Champions League against Lyon to become the youngest Barcelona player ever to play in the Champions League. In a matter of weeks, Bojan then became the youngest ever Barcelona player to score in a league match. Against Schalke 04, Bojan shattered yet another record as he became the youngest player to score in the knockout stages of the Champions League. Far from a novelty act, he broke Real's record for the most goals scored in the debut season. In one season, 5 records were broken. Bojan's rise to prominence was spectacular. His debut season was wondrous. Whilst we were anticipating the second coming of Lionel Messi, unfortunately as a result of panic attacks that began in 2008, Bojan was never able to fulfill the potential that the world forced upon him. From Amsterdam to Stoke, Bojan was never able to replicate the form he found in his wonderful first season. Adel Taarabt, the magician of Morocco. In the 2010-11 championship season, Adel Taarabt didn't just play football, he performed magic. That season, Taarabt scored 19 goals, set up 16, and dragged QPR back to the Premier League. He was the league's best player by a mile, winning the Championship Player of the Year. The solo runs that left defenders dizzy, the no-look passes that made his teammates double take, the swagger, the arrogance, the joy. But then the magic started to fade. The Premier League, tougher opponents, tighter tactics, suddenly demanded structure. And that structure was never Taarabt's thing. The flair that once lit up the Championship started to clash with the discipline needed to survive at the top. After QPR, his career turned into a world tour. Benfica, Genoa, and eventually the UAE. To his credit, he reinvented himself as a deeper midfielder, showing glimpses of maturity and tactical awareness, but that wild spark, that chaos that made him irresistible was never quite the same. By 2025, he was playing for Sharjah FC, a long way from the roar of Loftus Road. Over 480 games and 75 goals later, Taarabt's story is one of pure, fleecing brilliance. Because for all the moves, the clubs, the reinventions, he will forever be remembered for that one magical season when football felt like art and Adel Taarabt was the artist. As football fans, we've recently become very bored of international football. But every 4 years, we've become excited by the FIFA World Cup finals. And to be honest, this is the competition for unearthing new and unseen talents. Back in 1990, in Italy, a star was found. Not him. Meet the man they call Salvatore Schillaci. He ended the 1990 World Cup as the most popular man in Italy, but he started it by being attacked by 3,000 angry fans who trapped him in his car. Really, it's not what you think. His introduction to Italy's pre-World Cup training camp in Florence couldn't have been more chaotic. Toto Schillaci accidentally drove into the riot sparked by Juventus signing Fiorentina idol Roberto Baggio. Wrong man, wrong place, wrong time. But that summer, everything changed when he scored the winning goal against Austria at Italia 90. There he scored 6 goals, winning both the Golden Boot and Golden Ball, and finished second in the Ballon d'Or behind Lothar Matthäus. Overnight, he became Italy's hero, drawing comparisons to Paolo Rossi. But his fairy tale faded fast. The following year, he was banned for threatening Bologna's Fabio Pol after an on-pitch clash, and his scoring touch deserted him too. A move to Inter brought little success, and he eventually became the first Italian to play in Japan's new J-League. Still, he remained beloved. "People sometimes burst into tears when they meet me," he said once. "It's wonderful to see how happy they are." Schillaci's brief, brilliant summer made him synonymous with Italia 90, a tournament that belonged to him as much as he did to it. He passed away on the 18th of November 2024, aged 59, with Inter Milan leading the tributes. You've just heard the soundtrack of the most interesting one-season wonders of all time. The players that have had extraordinary peaks with their careers fizzling out into obscurity. We saw young Federico Macheda ripping it up and becoming clutch for just 2 games, and Adel Taarabt delivering a streets will never forget season in the Championship for QPR. But for me, it's got to be Michu. Just look at him, the long flowing hair, he looks every bit the part and embraces that look of a talented player. He entered the Premier League completely unknown and then scored goals at an unbelievable rate. And it wasn't just the amount of goals he scored, it was the quality of goals too. Oh, and yes, the iconic celebration. Added to that, his goals helped Swansea to win their first and only trophy. Michu will go down as a Premier League legend and has given us a season to remember. Muchas gracias, amigo. The streets will never forget you either. And that's the one thing about one-season wonders. They remind us all that football is a theatre of tiny, fragile miracles. One perfect alignment of form, fitness, tactics, and confidence can produce a season so bright you remember it for the rest of your life. Then the variables change. Manager moves, injuries land, transfers go wrong. Life, as ever, is messy. These players didn't become forgettable. They became immortalised in small, shining slices of time. Single seasons, streaks, all moments that anyone who watched football remembers. A teenager scoring a winner at Old Trafford, a Brazilian striker lighting up the Riverside, a Senegalese forward tearing apart defenders for a spell. Who's your favourite one-season wonder? Did we miss someone who dazzled for a year and then left you wondering what had happened? Drop it in the comments. We'll pin the best ones. And if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe and ring the bell. It helps the channel more than you think. Put it this way, every subscribe is like gifting us another glorious fleeting football moment to celebrate. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and we'll see you next time on Football Central.